Hi, this is probably the last one for the Peugeot. Going to do a spark plug change on it. I suspect we're probably going to be getting rid of the car before long, so this is probably one of the last service items that I'm going to be doing on it. Winter's come in. I've been doing some service stuff on it already, and spark plugs is probably the last thing I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to change the spark plugs on it. It's the Peugeot 306 1.4. These are the plugs I'm going to be using. Bosch. So you can see the part number on there. FR7DC. These aren't pre-gapped, unlike your NGKs, which tend to be pre-gapped. So they're set to 0.9 millimeters. So when you do it, you have to be right bang on. So get yourself one of these. It's got all the measurements on it. Very cheap. So this will help you. You'll help. Got a bit of a cold here, so excuse me. It's got a little mechanism as well to be able to do the gap. So basically, what you do is get your mechanism there and push it either up or down. It just slots in there, if you can see that, and just goes up and down. Just be careful with it, don't damage the electrodes. And that's pretty much it. These are ready to change. Never done it on these sort of cars before, so see how we get on, and I'll take you through it. So here we are, just out of the car. This is what I'm dealing with. It's got a coil-over cassette type system, which is right on the top there. Not much different than the Vauxhalls, maybe, Citroens and other cars like that. I know there's variations of these sort of cars. Where some come with coil and lead, some will come with these, some come with individual coilovers. But this is what we're dealing with. Got a couple of air pipes, Pcv pipes to disconnect out of the way. Hopefully they should just fold back. Got a connector there and a connector there that I'm probably going to take out as well. And then you've got two, looks like, one there, 10 mil. I think there might be 10 mil, I'm not quite sure. I'll let you know as we go. And then hopefully the whole thing should just lift out, hopefully. And then we'll see how long it is since these plugs have been changed. Hopefully they'll come straight out, and everything should be pretty cool. So just go and get some tools and make a start. Right, I'm going to start moving some of this where top. Got some of these spanner pliers. Seen before. Take this one off. See, some of this stuff is really brittle, so I've got to be very careful with it. There we go, that's that one off. Careful with these that you don't break them. That one in a minute. There you go, that one. I'm probably going to leave the pliers alone because that one's a bit dodgy. So move that out of the way. Well, this is trial and error, so That comes off there. Ooh, on the camera. That just pops off. I think that comes off there like that, so I can move that one out of the way. So basically we're left with 2 10mm. We'll zip off. That one's come off like that, but that's fine, I can go back in like that. Zip that one off. Keep all your nuts and bolts safe. Jump that out of the way. I'm hoping this just slides out the way. Can't see anything else that would get in the way of it. It's got another one there, look. That's come out like a rod, like that, so that can go in like that as well. Hopefully that just comes out like that. And that's what you're dealing with there. So basically what we've got here is plugs that go in at an angle. So I don't really want to take all this stuff out. So I'm going to have to get a wobble bar so I can go down there and get in at an angle. Back in a minute. So basically this is what I've got. Got one of these just to get down at an angle. Hopefully. Well, it is. It's coming out fairly easy. So obviously when you put the new one back in, just take your time. So what we got Denso. That's a Denso version of it. Looks alright actually. Looks in pretty good condition. Let's see how we go. So I'm going to take one out and put the next one in. Get a bit of anti-seize, just put it on the threads like that. You don't need too much, you don't want it globbing all over the place. Obviously if you change your plugs often then there shouldn't be a problem there. And then put the new one in, just do it by hand to start with, don't force it in, you don't want to break the threads or anything. If you break the threads, that's going to be a really bad day for you. So put that one in, tighten it about 1/4 of a turn. That should be enough. You can do to torque specs as well. I think they're about 25 Newton meters. It's up to you, but it says on the box 1/4 of a turn after. So just make sure you know what you're doing when you're doing this sort of thing. So that's the first one. Go for the next ones, and then go back to putting it all back together. So I'll put the other 3 in, and then we'll go back to the just finish off rebuilding it. Okay, that's all for plugs change. Obviously remember, don't force them. When you're taking them out, don't force it. If they're tight, just take your time, have a bit of a breather, and try again. Just keep trying. Don't try and, because if you snap it, it's going to be a really expensive job to do, and if you haven't got the knowledge, then I think you're going to be getting a professional. When you're tightening them up, don't over tighten them. Don't need to over tighten them. If you've got the specs, then great. If not, try and give it a quarter of a turn after it's come to a standstill. That's all you need. Check your plugs when you've took them out. Use the gives for your engine. These are all my plugs that have come out. They're all very similar. They've all burnt pretty much the same. It is an old car. I mean, I'm not expecting wonders from it, but I've seen a lot newer cars with a lot worse plugs out of this. So there's nothing too clean, there's nothing too dirty. All cylinders seem to be running very similar, and that'll do me really. So I'm not going to spend too much time worrying about that. So now we're going to just put it all back together again. Put your there you go, that goes in there like that. Make sure everything's contacted. Put the rods to put back in. It's quite handy them coming out from the rod end rather than the nut end, because the nuts are quite crusty. Just one end there. Oh, battery's going out. I think someone should have recharged the battery. So use it as a manual screwdriver. Good thing about these, if your battery runs out, then you can still use it. So do a bit of that. Oh, don't over tighten anything. No need to over tighten anything. Got that goes on there. So there's a nut for that. Keep everything on a magnetic tray if you can. So these sort of cars are very much for your DIY. Everything's nuts and bolts, very sort of clean to see. Put your wiring back in, slot in, don't force it. There's nothing worse than breaking your wiring. Put that back in. Right, this, I've managed to break it, which is great. So I'm going to have to mess around. I ain't going to do this on that video. But obviously, when you've done it, run it. Make sure it runs fine. Make sure everything's okay. And that's pretty much it. Things to remember, take your time. Make sure you've got the right plugs. Make sure you've got the right gap. Make sure you've got plenty of time to do it. Just don't, you know, a lot of cars have come in the past and the plugs are really over tightened, or they're welded to it because they've never been changed. So and that's pretty much it really. Hopefully this helps you change the spark plugs on your Peugeot or like white cars. So thanks for watching.